Over 100,000 tracks get uploaded to Spotify every single day. Take a moment to actually picture that. 100,000 per day. Vast majority will never reach a single human being who didn't already know the artist. They just sit there, dissolving into silence. And yet quietly, there are people pulling in real passive income from AI-generated music right now. Not because they're better musicians, not because they have a fan base, but because they figured out one thing almost everyone else gets completely backwards. I'm going to show you exactly what that thing is. Most people uploading AI music open an app, hit generate, throw it on Spotify, and then refresh their dashboard every 4 minutes, wondering why nothing's happening. I know this because I was that person. Refreshing. Like the streams would magically appear if I just believed hard enough. What finally flipped the switch was when I stopped thinking like a musician and started thinking like a product manager, which is ironic because I'm neither of those things. But here we are. There's a specific underserved audio format hiding in plain sight across Spotify, YouTube, and the App Store. I found it using a completely free tool that almost everyone walks right past. In this video, I'm going to break down the exact framework I built, how to find the niche, how to build the product, and how the math actually works once it's live. Stick around to the end because the way the money stacks up isn't what most people expect. Step 1. Stop opening the AI music tool. Seriously, close the tab. Go make a coffee. Come back. Because before you create a single second of audio, you need to find demand. The tool I use for this is free, and you've definitely seen it before. Google Trends. I know what you're thinking. Google Trends? The thing I used in 2012 to check if anyone still cared about Gangnam Style. Yes, that one. And it's incredible. Everyone ignores it. Here's why it works. Whether someone is typing into Google, Spotify, or YouTube, the underlying curiosity is the same. Google just gives you the cleanest, most honest picture of what people actually want. Because nobody is performing on Google. Nobody is trying to look cool on Google. They're just typing what they need at 11 p.m. in their pajamas. That's the data we want. So here's exactly what I did. Go to trends.google.com. Type in something broad and say, music for studying. You'll instantly see a graph. Is this topic rising, flat, or declining? Rising or consistently high is the goal. Flat is fine. Declining means walk away. But here's the move most people miss entirely. Scroll down past the graph to related queries. There are 2 tabs. Top shows you what's always been popular. Rising shows you what's gaining momentum right now. That difference is everything. When I searched music for studying and clicked rising, I saw queries like music for studying with ADHD, brown noise for concentration, lo-fi beats for focus. Those aren't search terms. Those are product briefs. Real people telling you exactly what they want, and quietly admitting nobody has made it well enough yet. That's a customer handing you a business plan. All you have to do is not screw it up. Then I used one more feature, the compare tool. I typed 2 rising queries side by side, lo-fi study music versus ADHD focus music. Google plotted both trend lines over the past 12 months. Lo-fi study music? Completely flat. It's been popular for years and the market is so crowded you'd need a flashlight and a map to find your album. ADHD focus music? Trending upward, steadily, month over month. Decision made. That's the niche. One more thing Google Trends gives you that almost nothing else does. Seasonality. Search study music and set the time range to 5 years. You'll see the same spike every August through October like clockwork. That's back to school season. Students flood Spotify and YouTube every year hunting for focus playlists. If you start building your catalog in June, your tracks have 2 months to get indexed and picked up by algorithmic playlists before that wave of desperate students arrives. That's not luck. That's timing the market, and a free tool just handed it to you. You're welcome. Now the music, which I cannot make. I once tried to learn guitar and my neighbor left a passive-aggressive note on my door after 3 days. So AI it is. I use a tool called Suno. There are others, but Suno is what I keep coming back to because the output feels the most cohesive and professional. Don't just take my word for it, give it a try. I turned on instrumental mode. And here's where I did something different from what you usually see in these videos. I didn't just type study music and hit generate. I thought about the actual listener, someone with ADHD sitting down to do something they've been avoiding for 3 days. What do they need from audio? Consistency. No dramatic drops. No sudden builds that make them look up from their screen going, wait, what was that? Just a steady, calm texture that keeps the brain gently occupied without stealing the show. So my prompt was something like, lo-fi ambient instrumental, 60 BPM, minimal texture, soft, piano, no drops, no transitions, consistent throughout. That specificity is the product. You're not making music. You're designing a listening experience for a specific person with a specific need. I generated around 40 tracks over 2 days. This part was actually fun. I felt like a record executive. except I had no budget, no artists, and no idea what I was doing. So, exactly like a record executive, I kept 22 tracks that felt cohesive, used the extend feature to push each one past 2 minutes, built the album around a theme and called it Focus State. Simple, clean, exactly what someone would search. For the cover art, I looked at what was already working in this niche on Spotify: soft gradients, abstract brain imagery, nothing loud. The visual equivalent of a weighted blanket. I went to Midjourney, described what I wanted, picked the best one, brought it into Canva, added the artist name, exported at 3000 by 3000. Done. The whole creative side took about 3 hours, which is 3 hours less than it took me to learn one chord on that guitar. Now, here's where I did something most AI music videos skip. Most people upload to one distributor and call it a day. I treated this like 2 separate products on 2 separate platforms, because that's what it is. First, the album went to Spotify through DistroKid. I set the release date 2 weeks out so the algorithm had time to index it. And I was careful with track titles. Not track 1, not untitled. Actual searchable phrases: deep focus session, calm concentration, study flow for ADHD. Those titles surface in Spotify search. They also surface in Google. Your tracks are products. Name them like products, not diary entries. Then I did something else. I uploaded each track individually to YouTube as its own video. Simple visualizer on screen. Same keywords someone would actually type when they're 45 minutes into a procrastination spiral and desperately need to focus. Why bother with YouTube separately? Because YouTube has its own royalty pool, completely separate from Spotify. And if your channel hits 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers, you qualify for the YouTube Partner Program. Ad revenue stacked on top of streaming royalties, 2 income streams, same 22 tracks, 0 extra creative work. I did 0 paid promotion, no ads, no playlist pitching, no posting on Instagram at 6 a.m. with motivational captions. The market research was supposed to do the heavy lifting. That's the entire bet. Now let me show you how it plays out, the part everyone skips to. I see you scrubbing the timeline. It's fine, I'd do it too. Spotify pays somewhere between $3 and $5 per 1,000 streams, depending on where your listeners are. Not much per track. But niche focus music has something most genres don't: absurdly long average listen times. Someone puts on a study playlist and leaves it running for 2 hours. That isn't one stream. That's multiple streams across multiple tracks, all from one person who sat down to do homework. The math compounds in a way it doesn't for regular music. Layer in YouTube. Focus and study content is one of the best performing categories for watch time on the entire platform. Because people hit play and walk away. They're not watching, they're listening. And every minute they leave it running counts toward that 4,000 hour threshold. Once you cross it, and revenue kicks in on top of streaming royalties. Same tracks, no extra work. But here's the number I want you to actually focus on. The whole process I just walked through: research, generation, curation, artwork, upload, takes about 6 hours per album. That's it, 6 hours. And those tracks don't stop earning when you stop working. They keep streaming. They keep getting recommended quietly, algorithmically, while you're doing other things. While you're sleeping. While you're refreshing a completely different dashboard for a completely different project, because apparently that's just who we are now. That's the real opportunity, not one album, a catalog. Every album is another small royalty engine running in the background. Some will flop, some will find an audience. Over time, the hits more than cover the misses. The music industry is nervous about AI. I get it, it's a real conversation worth having. But there's a version of this that doesn't compete with artists at all. It serves listeners who genuinely have never had anything made specifically for them. The person with ADHD who can't focus in a coffee shop doesn't need Kendrick Lamar. They need the right 60 BPM ambient track at the right moment. You can build that, and Google Trends will tell you exactly how many people are out there looking for it at 11 p.m. in their pajamas. If this was useful, hit subscribe. I'm going to keep running experiments like this and showing you exactly what happens, the wins and the ones that completely fizzle. See you in the next one.